What's up, everybody? And as soon as I hit the record button, the wind just kicks right up. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with the sound too much. You know how I am about that. It is day 16 of hashtag homeless. 16 days. It's a blur. And it's so tired. So yeah, starting a part-time job, maybe somewhat close to full-time within a week or two. I don't know. At least it'll give me enough money within a week or so that I can take care of some basic expenses. I really don't I hope this all works out. I don't know. I'm having a real hard time today not being bitter and angry about some specific things that I'm just not going to talk about on here. People who know me, who know what's going on, will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's hard to forgive. It's really hard to forgive when all I'm going to say is it's not just one person. When you know somebody in your life and you think that they're your best friend, or you think that this is a really good friend, it could be a friend that I've had since I was 18 years old. When someone just turns their back on you and kicks you, throws you out to the curb, or just, says they never want anything to do with you again when all you did was make a mistake. And, woe be to these people if they ever make a mistake. Maybe their karma will come back to get them. But anyway, this isn't what I want to talk about today. But this is just part of what you go through when you're thrown out into the streets without even when you're promised and told one thing, and as soon as you walk in the door, it's something completely different, and you're thrown out in the street to be homeless by someone who you thought was your best friend. It's hard to forgive people, but that's what God wants me to do. That's what He wants all of us to do. God has forgiven me for all the things I've done, including the stuff that got me in this mess. And I feel that forgiveness, and I see examples of it every day. And so I need to just forgive, all that stuff. And it is hard. Especially when you're getting attacked by bugs while you sit in this chair or you sit on this park bench trying to record a video. So we're 3 minutes in. I'm just going to let that go. It's what I've been wrestling with all day. I'm trying to keep my mind off of it. Sometimes the slower days when people aren't badgering me and pressuring me to get things done and have me running around town all day, the thoughts, the more time I have to myself, the more those thoughts, those internal thoughts just start eating me alive. And, people I knew for more than 20 years of my life, when I got arrested, immediately said, we don't want anything to do with him. He's a piece of trash. F him, etc., etc. And the funny thing is that the people that said that, they have the exact same political beliefs I have. If you went right down the column, all the check marks would be in the same column. And these people say the same things I say, believe the same things I believe. In fact, they have more guns than I had, more ammo than I had for the revolution, for, the takeover of the communists of America and all that stuff. Like, and they all told me I can basically go to hell and rot, and they'll never speak to me again because the FBI came to my house and didn't come to theirs. And so, like, some of these things just go through my head while I'm sitting around with too much time on my hands to dwell on things, and it's so hard to forgive. It's so hard to forgive people. Me personally, if it's up to me, hell no. I would never forgive any of these people the people that did the most rotten things to me since I made this mistake. Me personally, I can't forgive. There's no way, no possible way. The only way it happens is because God comes into me, the Spirit of God, and has nudged me and keeps saying over and over again, just let it go. Let it go, Adam. Forgive them. Don't forget, but forgive. Let it move past it. You've got your life to live. Someday they'll get theirs. And I'm just going to leave it at that. For the third time, I've said I'm going to leave it at that. I am going to leave it at that. Today, I did a little bit of job searching, some organizing. I had to go to the post office and fill out some forms to send to the probation officer once a month. First of the month, I have to do that every month. Probation officer is really cool. I talked to him this week. I'm grateful that I have a guy who's easy to deal with and who, he doesn't really want to, he doesn't want to see me fail. He doesn't seem to be a vindictive, like he's just one of these people trying to look for an excuse to come, pull a Rambo and kick down a door and, and drag me back off to prison in handcuffs for some, minor thing. And, I'm not even giving him a minor reason to do such a thing. So today, what did I do? I went to the library. I worked on my photography store. I am putting that up. Two of the things that people keep asking me about all the time are, where can we donate money? Like, where can we send money for donations? Like a lot of these YouTubers do, Patreon, PayPal, GoFundMe, all these different platforms where you just give me money, give me money, give me money. I'm not doing it. I'm not shaking a digital chicken bucket on the side of the sidewalk, the virtual sidewalk, looking for a handout. I'm not doing it. So I am going to put up a photography store on Etsy. I made my mind up today after some research, and long story short, Etsy was the best option out of everything that I can do quickly. But even though I'm only going to list 4 of my best landscape photos to start, there's a lot of research involved in just setting up an Etsy store. And I knew this, and I had time for this today. So I've done this before. I had a photography store up and running when I was arrested. And there's a lot of work that goes in aside from going out, shooting photos, traveling and shooting photos, and then coming back and putting in all the work, the photo processing, all the Photoshop work, all of the image preparation, saving out files, and everything that goes into creating the images themselves. There's all this research, pricing, figuring out, how to set up an Etsy store, which is the nice thing about Etsy. It's pretty much the same in terms of it's very, very similar to the photography store that I set up myself and built myself, in terms of how everything's organized. And I'm basically using the same systematic approach that I used when I set up my original store. But the nice thing about Etsy is that there's a level of trust with the public. So, you're still buying from me. Etsy's taking a small fee, but it's really not much difference than if I were to use a credit card processing company to take a payment from you. They're still going to take a percentage of that payment. So I did a lot of homework today. And I do have some pricing. So the store is going to be located at shop shop.litgood.com. That's shop.litgood.com. That simple. At that URL will take you right to the Etsy store. Or you can go to litgood.com, and there's a button for the store right in the layout right now. It will take you there right now. There's just nothing for sale. I did not have time to do the work was, I got about 50% of the way there today. But I did it in one day. So I made up my mind to start working on it today. And I'm probably going to have all day tomorrow to do it. So I might have 4 photos for sale tomorrow. The prices. So I've got a good price list put together. I'm going to sell prints on photographic paper that you can buy, have shipped to you, and you can frame them yourself. And I'll make sure that they're available in the most common sizes that you can get frames. Either go to Walmart, Michael's, wherever you buy frames. Amazon sells frames, and Amazon has a plethora of options when it comes to buying frames. So prices will start at $25 for an 8x10 or an 8x12 print. And they will go up to $200 for a 20-inch by 30-inch print. There's a lot of noise around here. From there, I'm also going to sell vivid metal prints. And what it is, it's a sheet of metal, a sheet of aluminum with the print printed on the metal. And these come either ready to hang, or if they're too small to hang, they come with some sort of backing that allows you to prop it up on a table. But these things, they come with options to hang. It's a sheet of metal that has a backing on it that when you hang it on your wall, it sticks out from the wall a little bit. It'll have rounded corners. These are really nice. These things, they don't need to be framed. You pull it out of the box and you hang it on your wall, and it's ready to rock. And they look really, really slick. I'm going to go with the high gloss versions to start because I just think they look better. But for an 8x10 or an 8x12, it starts at $85 for a vivid metal print. And for the high roller out there who wants to really throw down and support this show, the top end of the metal prints that I have for sale is $2,000. And that's a 40-inch by 60-inch print. So, something that's going to look really good on your wall, but it's going to cost you. That's for the high roller out there that wants to have a nice piece of art on their wall. And so so we've got a range from $25 to $2,000. And anything in between, depending on the size and the quality, whether you want it on photographic paper to frame yourself, or whether you want to be a high roller and have something fancy hanging on your wall. I've got everybody covered. Unfortunately, the shipping won't be free. I looked into this pretty heavily today, and I don't know what shipping is going to be. I think some of it's going to depend on the size and weight of the product. But as long as I'm shipping to the United States and Canada, it should be a pretty consistent rate. And I'm thinking that the shipping is going to be no more than $10-$20 for an order. But unfortunately, even for the 8x10 and 8x12s, it's going to be $10 to get it shipped. But it will be overnight shipping from the lab. So you have to give the lab a few days to process the order and make the print because they do it on demand. But it will be on photographic paper. It'll be, from a photo lab. But they're going to send it directly to you overnight once the print is solid and printed. So international orders, other than Canada, I don't know exactly what to do right now in terms of that. I think that will be something you will have to reach out to me one-on-one, have a conversation with me, because what's going to happen if you want an international shipment? I know there's somebody from South Africa popping up in the comments who wanted to order a print when I have my store up. And the only way I'm going to be able to make that work is I'm going to have the product shipped directly to me from the photo lab. And then I'm going to have to, do a spot check on the quality and all of that. And then I'm going to have to go to the shipper, FedEx, UPS, whichever one we pick. And I'm going to have it shipped to you in your country. And there's going to be there's going to be time involved from me and some cost, and it's not going to be cheap. So, I wouldn't bother having an 8x10 shipped internationally, but if you're looking for something, if you're buying a $2,000 wall hanger, the shipping costs to have it shipped internationally probably aren't going to be that much of a stretch when it comes down to it. Our biggest problem at that point is going to be the weight, customs, and all the BS that goes with that. So there you go. Photo store, possibly tomorrow. It really just depends on how all of the pricing information and all of that kind of stuff is figured out from my end. The thing I need to do tomorrow is prepare images. I have to crop them. I have to do some more homework to figure out what size to offer each image at. Keep it simple enough so that you're not overwhelmed with choices, and make sure that the sizes that are available, especially for the photographic prints, it's going to be easy for you to get a frame for them. So let's see. So I have to prepare files and just figure out aspect ratio. I've done all this before. I have a process around it, and I'm only going to put up 4 images. So I should be able to do that in the span of a day. And that just having 4 images up there, that'll help me get my process around how to do this nailed down. And I'll probably upload and add 4 at a time to my store as I build the store out. But I'm just going to start out with 4 nice sunrise and sunset landscapes, and maybe 1 waterfall that has special meaning to me that a lot of people seem to like. Just generic enough that, if you're from Boston, why would you want to hang a photo of Pittsburgh on your wall? So I'm just trying to find photographs that people, no matter where you're located, it would be something that you might want. But also, keeping in mind, you can go to my website right now, and if you do see a photo that you would like a print of, you can request it, and I can make it happen. One way or another, whether it's putting it up on the Etsy store for you to buy personally and just leaving it there until the ad expires. I believe a listing is good for 3 months before I have to renew it. And it's 20 cents or something like that for each listing. So it's not like a big deal. As long as we're, I don't have a problem taking a request and throwing it up on the Etsy store for other people to buy too, because, say somebody sees a photo of Pittsburgh that they like, and they ask me specifically if I would sell it. Yeah, I'll throw it up on Etsy, and hopefully other people from Pittsburgh stumble upon it, and, we'll go from there. But, let's see. So there you go. I do have another subject to talk about, but I don't think I'm going to do it today because I'm 18 minutes in, and I'd just like to kind of end this video. But, yeah. So one of the comments was, you need to start your own business. And, that's not the easiest thing to do when you're homeless, but here I am. I'm doing the best I can, and I am working towards, as small as it is, a store with 4 photographs for sale that counts as starting my own business. I have something that you guys can go buy as soon as tomorrow. And from there, it's just going to grow. And, we're just going to keep plugging away at it. And that's all I can say for now, folks. But I do want to talk about, maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow, as I'm talking about launching the official shop.litgood.com store. I do have a story that goes along with what I was talking about yesterday in regards to being a bicycle mechanic. And I sort of mentioned this in another video as well, and I think I'll talk about it in detail tomorrow, since it goes right along with this subject of starting your own business from nothing. A number of years ago, I was in a tight spot, and I started a business on Craigslist with a single ad on a whim one morning because it was spring and it was a good time of year to try this idea. And by the end of the day, I was walking around with about $500 cash in my pocket, plus my rent was paid, plus some of the other things that were emergency situation I was able to take care of. And I was still walking around with about $500 cash. At the end of the same day that I started this so-called business on Craigslist. So I'm going to talk about that in detail because, between selling stuff on Etsy, which is relatively easy to do, it just, if you have $20 to get started and you have products and you have photographs of your products and you can work with their system to get your stuff listed, that's one option available to you, and the other is Craigslist. Selling stuff on Craigslist, but in my case, I was selling a service. And I didn't really think that it was going to go anywhere, and within a day, 2 days, it took off. And so I'm going to talk about that in more detail tomorrow, and that'll be a nice video, and I won't have to think of any content for tomorrow. So until then, I hope you all have a good time, and peace out.